times, a lot of the fruit, it has to be bred so that it can be transported without being damaged. And then a lot of times they'll treat it with chemicals. So if it does get damaged, the bacteria and fungi can't really take hold. So you have all
Yeah.
these things going on with the fruit. And, like I said, on Rick's heart attack diet, which is really a carnivore diet, I'm not against the eating of fruit. What I'm against is bringing in fruit from other parts of the world through a
Yeah.
supermarket. If you're going to eat fruit, grow it yourself or know somebody that grows it. Pick the fruit in season, eat it along with your meat, and that's it. Once the tree's out of fruit, that's the end of it. Here in
Exactly.
Florida, you want to eat those sugary mangoes, they're only available for a week or two. You can't have
Mm.
mangoes year round because they're going to
Mm.
rot. You
Right.
have all
Yeah.
this fruit that forms, you give it away, and then it's gone. And what do? It just rots on the ground. But you go to the
Mm.
store, you could eat the same fruit day after day after day and just keep getting that sugar constantly. Plus
Yeah.
all the stuff they put in the fruit, like you said, the coatings, the chemicals, the gases, all these things that they do to keep the pests out of it.
They're
And who
larger and
knows?
sweeter. They're larger and sweeter because over time
Exactly.
we've been doing that to sell them. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. And like fruit doesn't naturally look that beautiful and clean.
Right. It's
You know,
supposed to have
it's it's
You
supposed
should
to
you
have
should
like all sorts of
you should
marks.
see
damage
what
and
the
stuff
fruits
like
in my yard look like. The oranges,
that.
the grapefruit, the cherries, everything has bumps and
Right.
a few chew marks from insects and who knows what else. A lot of times iguana marks from iguana claws. But yeah,
Yeah.
nothing's perfect. I don't think I've ever picked a piece of fruit that was totally perfect. Then you go to the store and you see an orange is completely orange. You look at that and like, what is that? I can show
Mm.
you an orange from my yard. It's orange and yellow and brown and gray and all kinds of colors. But the
Yeah.
funny thing is
Yeah, I'm
when
the
you
same.
eat,
I've got fruit growing in my yard too. And my dad's yard, I've been growing trees, for a long time. I love growing trees, especially fruit trees.
Mhm,
But, like apples and passion fruit and all these other things, most of it just gets eaten by the birds,
yeah,
you know.
that's it.
But,
And the insects.
and yeah, that's right. So, you know, I think it's great for people to grow food. I think it's great to grow, especially fruit off trees and things like that. But you can only eat it when it's in season. For
That's it.
one, it's not covered in chemicals or full of preservatives and all sorts of other junk that they do. Plus, environmentally, you're growing a tree for one. It's going to be good for you. But when they ship this stuff all over the world, think about all the refrigeration,
Oh yeah.
because they freeze
Mhm,
these things. Then they got to ship these things by truck, by ship, by airplane, by everything else.
mhm,
So environmentally, they're far worse, for everything all around, really.
mhm.
Now to do that, they have to pick them way before they're ripe,
That's it.
which I
Months, yeah.
heard is not
Mm.
healthy. That when they become
Mhm.
ripened after they're off of the vine or the
It's,
tree, they're not as healthy. There's more of a
that's
bad
right.
chemical in there.
Plus,
And
Calcium oxalate.
as soon as you pick them, they start to lose nutrients.
right.
Okay.
I
I
mean,
mean, it's
Not
not
only
that
that,
we can't really absorb any nutrients from plants anyway, but as soon as you've taken them off the vine, off the tree, whatever, they start to lose nutrients. So you think about between the time it's taken them to pick them and for you to get it in the grocery store
yeah,
is anywhere between 3 and 6 months, depending on which part of the world that it came from. There's absolutely nothing in it
a lot of
except
time. Yeah.
chemicals.
mhm,
You know,
that's right.
so it's just
Yeah, it's
not worth
just
it.
wild to think that you could be eating an apple that's 3 to 6 months old. It's,
Yeah,
And
it's just
another
crazy.
another thing, when you pick fruit too green, a lot of times the fruit will react. It'll produce more defense chemicals when
Yes,
it's
that's
picked
what it
green.
is. That's what it
yeah,
That's
is.
exactly. Yeah,
A lot of times with some fruits you pick them, you'll see sap or other material
Yes.
exuding from the fruit. That's the defense chemical. You want to wait
yeah,
until the fruit is ripening on the plant. And if you ever look at a fruit tree, nothing eats the fruit when it's green. Nothing eats the fruit when it's unripe. It waits until it's ripe and then it eats it.
that's
And
right. Yeah,
that's just
even
obvious.
bugs, like bugs and birds, and that they'll wait till it drops off the vine first.
That's
You
right.
know. You
Yeah.
know. I bought some spam food earlier today. Don't worry, not for me. I bought it and gave it to a homeless. Oh, that's nice of you, mate.
Yeah.
Sleeping next to
Hmm.
Aldi store. Good on you, mate. like even like tinned meat is going to do you in a pinch, and I think like I have some tinned meat stored in the garage for prepping purposes. But it's good to have fishing equipment too, so you can go fishing and get your own food and things like that. But tinned food will do you in a pinch, and I have been a prepper ever since the earthquake. I always like to have food stores that are readily available for anything that happens like that. So
frozen
don't
meat is my
apologize for that.
main prep.
What's that?
Frozen meat, and a generator with plenty of fuel.
Rick, you must live in the same state I do. That's exactly what we have. We're ready. I turn my generator on once a month, exercise it, get it ready because this might be a really bad hurricane season. We might be without power, and I don't want my freezer in my garage with all my meat to defrost.
I need to get my diesel generator back together. I got my gas one as a backup, but I got my diesel generator and parts all over the house. I ordered the gasket set and then I lost it, and I don't know. I'll get it eventually.
Wow.
I got a list. The thing is so
in
old.
there somewhere, man.
That generator is probably 60, 70 years old. It's
Where did you get it?
Wow.
I got it from, I don't know if it was the courthouse or it was from a school. It was an old generator that somebody had, and they were going to get rid of it, and they gave it to me, and I had it running, and then it had low compression, and took it apart.
You got to work on it, though. Yeah.
Yeah, it's even got a crank to get it started.
Oh, really? Instead of a pull?
It's a crank, and then it has like a lever. So you crank this wheel and you get it going, and then you release the clutch, and then it tries to start.
Like the lawnmowers. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I had a lawnmower. I have some of those parts. Yeah. But the thing is, it'll start off with a battery, but if the battery goes dead, you can still start it by cranking the wheel. It's handy.
Yeah, that's a good thing. Those old engines, the old crank start, like you said, like if the battery goes dead, you can still start it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like some of the more modern generators, like now, like they're all these push button electronic start and all this sort of stuff. But if the battery's dead, it's just not going to start.
The other problem is that most of the new generators do not have a permanent magnet, or they may not even have an electromagnet. They're using a capacitor exciter, and they go bad. Those capacitors can fail, and then your generator will run, but it won't produce any power.
Yeah.
So it's a good idea to keep a spare capacitor, or like I do, just use the old generators, have that as a backup, because they always work.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, good. Yeah, it's good if you can do it. I mean, I think everyone should be a prepper, not just for. I mean, there's all kinds of problems in the world that it could be a natural disaster. It can be you don't know how long if the lights will go out, power goes out, all these sorts of things happen. Things happen like that in life, but you should always have. I mean, hope for the best, but prepare for the worst.
Right.
And you tend to prepare when something happened to you, like you experienced that earthquake. We've experienced hurricanes. We know what it's like to be, and Wilma and all the other bad ones. We know what it's like to be without power for weeks at a time. So, but the average person who lives somewhere else that hasn't had that happen to them, they can be told, you need to prepare for things. And I'm like, yeah.
People they don't understand. Here in Florida, they become so dependent. They become so dependent on electricity. You need air conditioning, and now everybody now has everything on the internet. So people laugh at my collection of cassettes and records and all that. But when that internet goes down and they have no music to listen to and nothing to watch, I can still listen to my old stuff. There's no problem there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point, Cynthia. Yeah, I mean, not all bugs, but generally speaking, animals especially will wait until the fruit is ripe, or dropped off the tree or vine. Cockatoos not always either.
Where I am in Indiana, right in the middle of the United States, it's pretty rare for us to lose power for more than a day. Worst thing we'll get is
I can live without electricity. Yeah.
But, I keep extra propane and charcoal and things like that so we can continue to cook as we need to if we do lose power.
And EMP can happen anywhere.
That's true.
Yeah. Well, nowadays with what's going on in Russia, train,
Mhm.
and who knows what's going to happen? We might have
And
an
and
atomic
here in
bomb
the
blow up.
U.S., we don't make anything anymore. So if an EMP damaged transformers, it could be years before the power grid
Years.
is restored
Yeah.
because they
Yeah.
basically export everything overseas. They got rid of all the domestic manufacturing. I
Yeah, it's
mean,
the same here.
most of the time it wouldn't damage that, but if it happened, it'd be a disaster. Can
It's
you
scary
imagine?
if you think about how much we're dependent. We're so dependent on electricity and the internet for everything.
Yep.
Yeah,
And
that's
an
Everything.
right.
EMP would wipe out the internet. It would be gone.
Well, the
You'd be
car
back to
won't
using.
start either. Nothing
Well,
magnetic would work for a while,
it,
right?
it it depends. Most of the cars, the computer is well shielded. The ECM or the control module is usually in a cast aluminum housing with the metal cover. So the car depends on the complexity of
Depends
the
on the
car.
car. All right.
The
The older
older
cars
ones,
wouldn't work. Yeah.
well, a car from the 60s is completely immune. I've done my own EMP test. It makes the car just stutter for like half a second. But if
Huh.
you have a newer car, it'll shut it off. Anything from like the 80s up can shut off in an EMP. But most of
Wow.
the time they'll restart because I EMP'd, what was it? 1995? I forget what that car was. It was a little Ford car. It might have been a Festiva or something like that. We EMP'd that thing several times. It would shut off, but it would restart, so it would go. But the newer ones, especially the luxury cars that have multiple modules, they communicate with each other, they would just fry because the
Yeah.
EMP is just a fast moving magnetic field. So anything that's not in a Faraday cage can generate enough power. Most of the chips that we use are MOSFET or CMOS, and they don't take much. Only maybe 5-6 milliamps is enough to burn them. So an EMP would just wipe out pretty much everything communication related.
Yeah, you're
Goodbye
right.
cell
Especially, like,
phones.
the more modern ones now, like especially or most cars are automatic now too, and they all, even the gearbox have their own computer system as well.
Mhm.
So that would just, falter. Have a look at, the more complicated they are, the more things the systems are going to fail. Aren't like under an EMP, like especially like vehicles with like those sensors, that like braking sensors. Okay, things like that. Their brakes
And-
lock on. All sorts of problems happen with them. But
And
think about the electric cars too. Like,
Yep. Oh yeah. And it's
they
not
won't
just the
just
cars.
fail.
Think about all the farm equipment. It's all electronic now.
Well,
Construction
air
equipment.
traffic controlling,
Oh, yeah.
traffic lights, trains. I mean, our
Airplanes.
communication system, airplanes, everything is going to come to a grinding halt
Trucking.
Mhm.
if we go there. Yeah, big
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much
that's right.
every car from 2000 and up probably has anywhere from 20 to 60 computers in it.
Mhm.
I'm in the industry, and I'm around these cars all the time, and I mean there's electronic control systems for everything, for
Mhm.
the ignition, for the timing, for the transmission, for the airbag system, the braking system,
Wow.
the throttle, the emission system. I mean, it's almost endless on the number of computers that are in cars today. You pretty much got to go, like Rick said, pre 85 maybe.
Mhm.
If it's got an ECM, an electronic control module in it, it's susceptible.
Mhm.
If you're running something with a 1972 Chrysler electronic ignition, you can start that thing with a screwdriver and go. As long as your battery's up,
Well,
you can
that's it.
start that thing.
If you have a 69 Charger like I do, there are no computers whatsoever. The only electronics is in the AM radio.
Right. I had a 69 VW Bug that I played with for a while. And it was so basic. When you drove it, you felt the road in the wheel. That of course wasn't power steering. You felt everything was
manual
just
transmission.
Everything was manual, and just
I still drive
even
manual.
The heater, you
transmission.
lifted a lever and the heat would come through a little tube. It was no motor.
Yep.
The windshield
Worked off
washer
the
was
exhaust.
tire pressure. It was cool.
Yeah. I mean, like they're so basic. Like even the old windshield wipers ran on a vacuum,
Right?
Yep.
rather than electronics. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But very reliable. I mean, like you said, like these days, like an EMP would wipe out most transport.
That's it.
Yeah.
And the communications, that's the worst part. Everybody has a cell phone. Everybody's using the internet. And most people I know, they live on the internet. Their entertainment,
Look where we are now.
information.
Exactly.
There you go.
Yeah. Like especially now, people freak out when they don't have their mobile phone for one day. You know,
Right.
they flip out.
Especially the younger generation, because they were brought up on this thing. They
Yeah,
live
that's
on
right.
this thing. I know. I taught those
For them,
kids. And
like for
drug.
us, like junk food and stuff. Like for them, that is a lifelong habit.
we've
because they grew
we've
up with
lived
that.
without it for years, and it
Yep.
came
That's
into
right.
being as I don't know how old you were, but
Mhm.
when did they become prevalent? Like 2008, when everybody started getting a smartphone. 2009. It's not that long ago.
2000.
Cell phones
Not that
started
long
really
ago.
in the 1990s.
Right.
I
The
had
big
one.
brick phone. Yeah.
Car
Yeah, well, that
phone.
was 80s, but it was the 90s. They got cheap enough. In the 80s, it was still for rich people. Maybe
Right.
Donald
And
Trump
then the car
maybe some
phones.
government.
Yeah.
And the
I
car
remember.
phone. I got a collection of those old
Do
phones.
you really?
Yeah, because I was in technology back in the 90s. I started my first business doing
wow.
networking and stuff like that. And I always
Okay.
had a phone. Everybody I knew had a phone.
I remember
bunch
if your
of 'em.
car had one of those antennas, it was like it was a status symbol.
They
Like,
used
"Ooh,
to
he-
sell fake ones. So that
Fake
They
people could
did.
have-
They
that's
did.
right.
I was just getting ready to say that. They sold fake ones.
I had a CB antenna for the longest time. I used to have my
I
CB
still have
in
a
my
CB in my truck, my van, my car.
Yeah.
I still use it.
Yeah, I remember the 90s with people that put those fake car phone antennas on their cars. That was hilarious. Yeah, like as the
Oh,
real
yeah.
status symbol.
Then there were the beepers. Everybody had a beeper.
I
Yeah.
still got mine.
I never had one in my life. A
Oh, I
beeper.
had it. It was, then
It's
you had
part
to
of your-
run to a phone and
Oh,
try to
yeah.
call somebody. That's why the payphones lasted as long as they did. Once the beepers went
You
away.
needed to pay. You're right. You're right. You had to go to some payphone. We always had a dime. I always had a dime in my pocket just in
It
case.
was, yeah.
you
When
had
I
to
was
make
a little
phone
kid,
call.
and then later on it was,
A quarter.
2
Yeah.
dimes and then a quarter. And
Right.
yeah, I remember that.
So thanks for joining us, everyone. As you can see, you've got 4 old people there.
And we're not talking
getting
about
nostalgic
nutrition
over
anymore.
car phones.
Well, it's good because I got to go to another live in a few minutes. So, it's I figured I'd say what I had to, and then I got to go to the keto cookout. That's my next
Oh,
one.
cool.
Yeah.
And then I'll
Yeah,
see you
very
tomorrow
good.
night, both of you guys.
That's right.
That'd be great.
At least they're calling me now. I'm not left behind.
You guys are showing their age, yes. Yeah, talking about car phones. I
hard to
think most
hack.
kids today wouldn't know what you're talking about.
They wouldn't know
Right.
what a payphone is
Right.
No, that's
Well, no,
right.
I had
unless
to
they go to my
use-
front yard.
Use an actual phone. It's the dial or the push button. They don't even know how to. Have you seen people how they use the phones today in society? They're even older people. They take the phone, they put it on speaker, and they sit here and they talk. Like
Yep.
this. And
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm looking at them like, what is wrong with these people? It's just how they're driving like this, and they're doing this, and they're talking. They're holding it up in restaurants, in
Oh,
public,
yeah.
talking out. Oh,
What disturbs me is that they can't put it down long enough to even cross the damn street.
I agree.
Right. They have no idea where they're going. They're facing the damn screen and they bump into people all the time. They can't even put it aside long enough to cross the damn road.
Mhm.
Seriously.
That's right.
That's addiction.
It is.
That
yeah.
is serious addiction.
I just started going back to the gym a couple weeks ago.
Uh-oh.
You see, I've been working out and getting
Good.
back into the groove, and I'm amazed by how many people are on their cell phones in the gym.
While they're working.
Oh,
out.
I mean,
yeah.
they're between sets,
Yeah,
resting their muscles for 30 seconds, and they have to look at their phone.
Yeah. I've seen that.
I mean,
The problem is they're not resting for 30 seconds. They're resting for 10,
4
20 minutes.
20 minutes.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of time, I'm gonna jump out for now, but
All right, Rick.
I'll be back
All right,
tomorrow.
man.
I'll see you.
All right.
All right.
Take it easy.
I need to
Yeah.
jump out too, guys. So it was
All right.
nice,
All right,
nice
guys.
talking to you, and we'll catch you again sometime soon.
All right.
We'll be wrapping up soon anyway. So thanks for jumping on, Brett.
Good to see you.
See you, mate. Yeah,
All right.
he's right. Brett, it's like you go to the gym these days and
Oh, yeah.
unfortunately they do a set and they'll be looking at the phone for another 10, 20 minutes before they do another set. Like
Yeah, I used to go to a gym before COVID. I quit after COVID. I have my thing I do in the house now, but I actually joined this gym that they're building. I got a real cheap price. So as soon as it's done, I get to start going there. But I saw that it would really piss me off too. They would sit there on the phone, they'll do a set, and then they'll just sit there on their phone. I want to get on that machine. Yeah. And they're sitting there, and I'll go around and do like 2 or 3 others. They're still sitting there and they haven't done anything.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's really annoying. Yeah, it's very frustrating when you want to use something. I don't mind if someone's using it and like, okay, they just got there before me, and there's no big deal. But if they're just sitting there for half an hour
because they're playing on the damn and then phone, you have to say, "Can I work in with you?" or whatever. And I don't want to work in with them. I want the machine myself.
Yeah, I just want to get it done and go. You know,
I don't like working in with people.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm an introvert when it comes to the gym. I want to get in. I want to work out. I want to get out.
Yeah, I'm the same exactly. When I'm busy, they have to wait for more reply. Yeah, simple as that. You know. Yeah, I don't even. I take a phone. I do have a phone, just a text phone, like a prepaid text phone that I use. But I don't take a phone when I go out. I don't want to be disturbed. I don't. You know, it can wait till I get home.
Yeah.
You know? It can wait till I get back from the gym. It can wait until after I'm finished doing what I'm doing. You know, there's nothing that important that it's going to happen that is going to disrupt what I'm doing. You know,
there was one time in my life, 2 times in my life, when my mother and father were ill, and they were kind of dying, and they lived up in another state, and I put my phone on, you know, make sure that I had to have it with me for my brother to call me. I needed to find out stuff right away, or if I had to hurry up and get up there. That's it. That was the only time I absolutely had to have the phone, and it was a convenience to have that. But, you know, you don't need it for all these other reasons. They're getting their little dopamine hits from their little text responses, the likes on Facebook. They're getting hits of dopamine.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, and again, like it's the blue light stuff that comes from these phones too. It's the dopamine addiction as well. So, hello, Copper's Kitchen. Good to see you. Yeah, so we're finding another thing that bugs John besides bad grammar.
This person knows who I am a little too well. There's a lot. I have a lot of little pet peeves.
Oh yeah, I mean we all do, but I agree with
I'm a very auditory person, so certain things bother me. Certain sounds I can't stand. I have to mute things, and I don't know.
Yeah, I get that way too. Certain sounds they tend to grind you. Like nails down a chalkboard.
And smell like when people wear a lot of perfume and cologne. I can't stand it.
Oh, that's bad. Yeah, I don't like that. Yeah, that's actually bad. I find that bad too in the gym. You know, women will come in, they've literally got a cloud of perfume around them that you choke.
Yeah, a lot of it is it's women with hairspray. I notice it's the hairspray smell that I almost want to throw up. It's so strong, and I don't think it bothers anybody else. But I smell it like it's so offensive to me. I can't work out anywhere near people with hairspray.
Yeah.
Weird.
No, I agree. You just can't breathe around them, you know.
Yeah. Burnt themselves.
Has anyone burnt themselves and not know till the burn came up? As I do not remember burning myself.
Usually you have nerve endings, and you know you have a burn unless you were super busy at the moment. You got burnt, and you got distracted.
It depends. For me, it depends. Like if my hands. My skin is quite thick on my hands, so I actually don't feel a lot. Like my hands are not very sensitive. So I have actually done that, burnt my hand, and not realized it until much later when I got a blister. But if it's like further up my arm, like inside my arm, I feel that immediately, like on the side of a fry pan or something like that. But yeah, it depends on the skin and how thick the skin is, how sensitive you are. But yeah, my hands not really that sensitive. I actually, when I was younger, I remember my index finger. I actually sliced the top of it off, and I didn't realize it. So, like just on the corner. But
I did that on my thumb. I was working at a fast food restaurant. I was 15 years old, and we were slicing the lettuce to shredded
I was
lettuce.
doing the same thing. I was working in a delicatessen. I was
And
slicing meat.
and I didn't feel it because it was so sharp. And then I
Yeah.
felt liquid on the end of my finger. Like, why does my finger feel wet? And I'm like, oh, it's blood.
Yeah, I was the same. Yeah, I was slicing meat for a delicatessen, and just the slice is so sharp, you just don't feel it.
And just why they have those metal gloves if you could get this.
Yeah.
So what was that one? Honey Hollow. Honey Hollow. You know how healthy it is not to put anything on your skin, because your skin absorbs everything you put on it, even makeup. Everything goes right into your bloodstream, your biggest organ in your body. So that's good.
Well, one of them. Yeah, depends.
One of
if you go by weight, okay, your muscular skeletal system is the heaviest organ because it's the pump for your lymphatic system.
Square footage or inches or yards or whatever, it will be your skin.
But yeah, good point. You absorb so much through your skin. I think it's 60% of what you touch, especially in liquid form, you absorb, and which is quite a lot.
It is.
Which is why it's so good for us. I mean, to get sunlight, because we absorb that red light and all these things that actually help us create hormones like D3 and other things, cholesterol and everything like that. It's just, it all works together. But it's because we absorb that into our skin, into our body, So everything that you put onto your skin is, just as important as what you eat, So like chemicals when you're washing your hands, for example, shampoos, cosmetics, women put so much cosmetics on, like different types of creams and moisturizers and makeup and, lipstick and all this sort of stuff that gets absorbed into the body, and, these are chemicals that are absolutely toxic, and yet they wonder why they have thyroid problems and things like that, So you have to think about everything that goes onto your skin. It comes into contact even for a minute, but they wear makeup all day long,
Yeah,
and they
do.
spray all these other chemicals in their hair, and they spray chemicals in their body, like
we wonder why cancer has gone up so dramatically since the early 1900s. We have so many more chemicals in our food, in our water that we rub on our skin, deodorant,
absolutely everything.
That's why
and the air too. What's in the air we also absorb.
Well, there's certain things we have control over if we have the knowledge and we're aware, and there's certain things that it's like you can't walk around with an oxygen mask on and a suit and you can't get crazy, but you can control certain things. I have a reverse osmosis filtration system under my sink, so I have better water. I stopped using plastic. I stopped using Teflon. All these little changes add up. I bought tallow soap instead of the crappy stuff that.
Again, these are the things you can change, aren't they? Like reverse osmosis water filter is the best thing you can probably do for water, except for low deuterium, like deuterium depleted water, but that is extremely expensive to buy. But a reverse osmosis is fantastic, and you can get them cheap. You can also get like a benchtop one as well.
Yes, they have the what is that one thing called? It's like a big metal one you can sit around. It's like the top of the line. I thought of getting one, but it took up too much space on my countertop. And then I bought one at Home Depot. I installed it myself, following the directions, and it was $250.
That's not bad, is it?
One filter every 6 months, the other 3 filters every year. So it gets to be a little pricey, but I'm investing in my health.
Well, that's right. Yeah. And there's so many chemicals in water, like especially like tap water. There's not just, there's PFAs for one, but you also have like so many chemicals from pharmaceutical drugs as well. A lot of them are drugs that suppress your hormones to stop us breeding and things like that. It's all sorts of stuff. It's disgusting.
It is.
But again, like these are things you can do stuff about, like soaps, chemicals, shampoos, and you can get tallow and natural stuff. And try not to wash your hands too much. I've always been pretty bad, especially the last 12 years of being very bad at that. I wash my hands a lot.
We were told
trying
to do that constantly.
That's right.
Now, what I
Yeah,
used to
and
tell
so-
my students is keep your fingers away from your eyes, your nose, your ears, and your mouth. Just don't
Yeah.
put your fingers near the inputs. And if you have a bacteria, like if you touch Staphylococcus or whatever, a streptococcus, whatever the virus is, if it's on your fingertips, it can stay there. It's not going to go into your system because you're not biting your nails or scratching your eye. And yeah, you wash your hands every once in a while, right? Especially before you're preparing food. But you know, I again,
There's no
all
need to
that
do it every
horrible hand
time.
sanitizer, you're killing all the good bacteria off of your fingers
Yeah,
as well.
that's right.
So you want to keep the good bacteria.
That's right. That's another problem with when you get like those hand alcohol gels and things like that. They kill the good bacteria as well.
Yeah.
You know, because we do have good bacteria living in us.
Absolutely.
Well. It's not just bad. So yeah. But yeah, just avoid anything with chemicals in it, like on your skin and in your food and water. Everything else, you really can't do anything. You can't do anything about the air. You can't do anything about, most other things. But those things you can control.
I mean, you can do a little bit with the air. You can have, them air filters in your house. They have HEPA filters.
Yeah, but you have to go outside sometimes.
Yeah,
too,
but there's little things you can do with the air. Stay away from smoke or stay away from exhaust, and certain things. But again, you don't have total control over everything.
No, that's right.
Because you just can't.
Yeah. I used to have a good friend who was ultra sensitive to smells. Stopped using all this stuff because of.
Thank you. That was nice of you. I always like those signs in the doctor's office. I don't go to the doctor that much anymore, but they would have those signs. If don't wear perfume, don't wear cologne, turn off your cell phone, out of respect for the people around you.
Yeah, that's right.
And I used to have students who had they had allergies to perfumes and colognes, and the kids would put on Axe spray, and a little kid's throat would start to close up. So I'd have to tell all the students, do not put this stuff on when you come into the classroom.
Yeah.
It's so
Yeah.
Your August challenge. What's your August challenge, DC?
August challenge, we have the first week will be fasting, and depends on who. Actually, I'll show you that. I will be doing a August challenge on our Facebook group. It is the first week of August. We'll be fasting, and you can choose either one day, like even just start small, like 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, and 4 day fast. Okay. I'll be doing a push-up challenge, light exercise challenge, and also a bit of rucking and sprints. So cool. It's depends on you can choose whatever you want to do. So here it is. This is our August challenge. Okay. So okay, I'm giving people the next 3 weeks to prepare for a fast. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start giving people tips on how to prepare for a fast, how to prolong the fast, and what to do if you start getting low in electrolytes and electrolyte imbalance and things like that while you're fasting. So I'll be monitoring, as long as people tell me how they are feeling, I can give them tips on how to correct it. So the first week of August will be fasting, be 1, 2, 3, and 4 day fasting. You can choose which one you can stop whenever you feel like you need to as well. It's not something you have to do. All right. Plus light exercise during the fast. I don't want people to stop moving. And the rest of the month will be a choice of rucking or sprints. You can do sprints on the bike if you've got like a stationary bike at home, or you can do running sprints wherever you can, like in the backyard or down the beach or anything like that. There'll also be a push-up challenge. So even throughout the fasting, we'll be doing a push-up challenge from day 1, and it'll be an incremental push-up challenge. So whatever people to do their maximum amount of push-ups on day one, and every day past that to do at least one more push-up than their maximum from the first day. So we're just gonna do that for August. Okay.
Sounds good.
So, and there'll be, I mean, I'll be making some videos, and also there'll be a Q&A for that too. So for the challenge group, and I'll give you as many tips as I can. And if you have any questions on fasting, how to prolong it, how to prepare for it, push-ups, exercise, sprinting, anything like that. So please feel free to ask any questions you may have. Okay. I hate showering. The water smells gross. Yeah.
I wonder why it smells gross. What does that mean? Is there something in her water what would cause it to smell?
So just in Australia. So Australia's water is really bad. Actually,
is it?
It's full of so many chemicals. But it's actually there's actually a news story on this last, I think, a couple of weeks back. We actually have like about 140 times the amount of PFAs in our water than America does.
Ooh.
Yeah. It's really, it's horrible stuff. Actually,
we have
it's full of chlorine.
City in Florida that we have here where they have enormous amounts of sulfur, and when we go visit the city, St. Augustine, you can smell the sulfur when the sprinklers come on, because they're pulling them up from the ground. It's so strong, and I wonder if that's the same odor that she's smelling.
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, the Australian tap water also has sulfur, fluoride, and all sorts of other chemicals as well. So it's really horrible, dry, hard sort of water. So distilled water, it's very good too. Water that I remineralize yourself. Good. Yeah, I mean,
basically what reverse osmosis is, right?
Yeah. Basically, it just distills the water. Distilled water is fantastic, but again, you still have to remineralize it, because we actually are supposed to get minerals from our water, but we can't get these days, obviously. So it's a good point to always remineralize it after filtering your water. So and a good salt, a good mineral salt would do that. I use salt water all the time.
Yeah.
Yep. Thank you, Cynthia. Very good.
Sprinting and rowing, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, my reverse osmosis has one of the it's like cycles 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The fifth one is a remineralization, and then I also add Redmond Relight. I just add little tiny scoop into my. This is what I carry around with me all day. This is my drinking water with ice, and I fill this up like 2 or 3 times a day with lots of ice because I like it cold, and lots of minerals in that.
It helps when it's really hot and humid to have a nice cold water. Have it as cold as you can get it. So okay. Well, I don't want to keep you too long, John. So it's just been over a little bit over now.
It's been good though. Thanks for doing this.
Pretty quick.
Yeah. And I look forward to having you tomorrow night if you can make it. 8. I don't know what time it is for you.
Same time.
Well, it's not same time. So you started at 10 o'clock tonight, right?
Yep.
Today here. So it'll be 9 o'clock for you tomorrow, because I'm going on an hour earlier.
Yep, no problem. I'll be there. All right. Thanks everyone for joining us. I hope you got some good information out of that. And please feel free to bring any more questions. If you have any more questions, please just leave them in the description, in the comments, and either John or myself will get back to you as soon as possible. All right. Have a great day, everyone, and take care.
See you later.